Mental health. While some might deny or downplay its effects, it dramatically affects people in many ways. Just as someone can be physically unhealthy, it's just as possible to be mentally unhealthy. And given the state of the world right now, it's no surprise that the mental health of many people is on the decline. Now, I'm no psychologist or therapist, but given the nature of my channel, trying to provide analysis on writing to help those aspirants improve their craft, I thought I would take a moment to share some tips that help me out, and maybe they can for you as well. So, firstly, I would say, find something you love doing and go for it. Now, that might seem simple, but there's a bit more to it than what it is at face value. You see, let's take a look at humanity's rise. Ancient humans started off in tribes that gradually grew into villages and settlements. And this led to people in those villages having specific roles, so our psyche adapted to that. You see, the human brain needs either a problem to solve or a goal to be working towards. Without either of those, you'll grow listless, like a ship with no rudder. In olden times, if you were a hunter, your job was to go out and get food. You could easily see the results of your work when your tribe ate that night. That gave you a sense of purpose. You had a goal to work towards, a problem to solve. Even going back several decades before the internet, if you were the town mechanic, people would call you when something broke down. You had a tangible purpose that you could see the effects of. And throughout all of this, from villages of ancient humanity to the towns of the mid-1900s, these settlements were relatively small and self-sufficient. In those small towns, everyone knew everyone else by name, and they had at least some sense of connection to each other. Now, with most things being on a global scale and large companies running the show, that sense of having a distinct role in your community has all but evaporated, which leads to people lacking that goal to be achieved or problem to solve. That's one reason why so many people these days are always jumping onto whichever cause is being talked about this month. In today's world, finding a sense of purpose like that is difficult to come by, and others will take advantage of people's need to belong. So my advice is to find something you love. Whether it's a simple hobby or something on a larger scale, you need to find something that drives specifically you and go for it. Remember that your life is your own, and if you aren't going after something that matters to you, you'll regret it later. Next, keep in contact with the people that matter to you. This can be friends or family, the difference is next to none in this regard. Honestly, I don't make any distinction between the two. My two best friends, I'd consider to be siblings. But keep in mind that blood does not mean family. I'm in no way saying that you should neglect your family, but blood only determines relatives. Family are the ones who are there for you just as you are there for them. Blood plays little part in that. I've heard many horror stories that have left me chilled about how parents, siblings, or other relations have treated people I know horribly, on purpose, over the course of years. That isn't family. There's no shame in cutting ties with those who only intend to do you harm. This isn't to say that you take such drastic measures just because you have a disagreement or a fight with someone like a relative or a friend. Everyone fights from time to time. It's inevitable when you have frequent contact with someone over a long period of time. But a one-off incident is different from someone intending to perform actual abuse. If it's the latter, then there is no cause to keep ties with that person. With today's world making things hectic for everyone, it can be difficult to keep in contact with others, but remember to send a text to that friend of yours. Maybe call your mom or dad and see how they're doing. It can make a world of difference. Another thing that can seriously wreck your mental health is comparing yourself to other people. Now, this doesn't mean that you should completely ignore what other people are doing, because you could potentially learn from them. What I mean is to not look at others and beat yourself up for not being as successful as them. This can range from those who are extremely successful in a field you're trying to make a name in, to even friends or family members who have done well for themselves. In the case of the former, remember that they are the exception. For every well-known person in a field, there are plenty of people who are just as good that don't get the same recognition. Just think about something like acting. For every great actor you see in the movies, there are probably dozens of others equal to them in talent. But you also can't look at friends and family and beat yourself up over things that they've achieved that you haven't. Maybe they have done something that you haven't yet, but you never truly know what goes on behind closed doors. You might only be seeing the best of their lives, but they also have their own struggles. The grass is always greener on the other side, as they say. Remember that only you can see every time you've come up short or what you haven't accomplished yet, and only you can beat yourself up about it. Do you really think that people remember that embarrassing thing you did 10 years ago? Do you remember something embarrassing that someone else did 10 years ago? And if you do you still have contact with them? If you do, you're probably on good terms, and so it doesn't matter. Don't put yourself down. The world will try to do that on its own. You don't need to make an enemy of yourself. And when it comes to others trying to put you down, don't give them any attention. Now, if they have genuine constructive criticism, then that's an entirely different matter. But if it's something like someone at school or work trying to be a scumbag, don't let them get in your head. That's what they want. By acknowledging them, they win. Those that try to bring others down, from bullies to trash talkers to slimy colleagues, none of them are worth any space in your brain. For reference, and this is probably the only time you'll hear me mention them, do you know what I do when I get hate comments on my channel? I have a short laugh at them and move on with my day. It's because they don't have anything to say that's worth acknowledging. That's why you'll never see me reply to them, and I would urge you to do the same. Be better than them, and you'll feel better in the long run. Finally, always try to make some time for fun. You've probably heard the saying, all work and no play, right? Well, it's completely true. I know today's world makes us all busier than ever, but try to set aside a bit of time each day for something you enjoy. Your mental well-being depends on things like that. If you're just plodding along and working all day every day on things that you detest, then it's going to drag you down into depression or complete apathy. Don't let that happen. It doesn't matter what it is, assuming you're not harming others. Maybe you enjoy gaming or cars or sports. Whatever it is, do it. I've seen people not set aside time for fun, and they eventually become hollow husks without any true life to them. They just plod along without any drive. But these are just some things I've noticed, and maybe they can help you out. I certainly hope so. Mental health is an important aspect of life that everyone needs to take care of. Take care of your mind the same way you would take care of your body. But what do you think about all this? How do you keep track of your mental health? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and leave a like on this video if you're so inclined, and subscribe to see more. And may you all have a weapon in each hand.